Welcome to the Hollywood Persona Podcast. Here are your hosts, Mitch and Ant.
Hello and welcome to the Hollywood Persona. My name is Mitch Burns. I'm here with Ant. How's it going today, Ant?
Hey Mitch, it's great. How are you? I like your
I'm-
snowy background.
Yeah, it's really cold here up in Canada. It's actually not. Today was it's like the coldest day of the year so far, but it's still pretty warm for what
Yeah,
we're used to.
I wish we spoke in the same temperature format because then we could compare. But
I couldn't even tell you.
mine's-
We're at -3 tonight.
okay, and I'm at like 38, which is close to zero. That's all I know. That's like
Okay.
that's probably
Okay.
like 1.5 or 2. Which
I don't-
yeah, it's not bad. Although the nice thing, and just comparing Chicago to Atlanta, or Chicago's probably close to your weather as far as like temperatures and patterns go, because I don't think
Yeah?
you're that far north.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, Chicago.
The nice thing about it down here is during the day we'll get up to 30 Celsius or so. Like it gets nice and warm during the day.
I don't know what any of that
Whereas-
means.
You know what 30 Celsius means?
No, I said I don't know what any of that means.
Oh, you
I
should.
d- Celsius?
Yeah, isn't that what you use? Centigrade, Celsius.
Oh yeah.
I used your format.
I got confused. Anyways, today we are going to be talking about some movies later on after our movie news. Leave the World Behind, Silent Night, The Cello, Eileen, The Boy and the Heron, Christmas Evil, Flora and Son, The Sacrifice Game, and several others that we're going to talk about briefly. A couple older movies that Anne got to see in theaters. And Anne has some interesting stories about some of his movies. One that I was really shocked he went to see. So that'll be a fun conversation later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nothing except for the fact that I'm in the snow, which you can see if you're watching over on YouTube.
Have you heard back from listener Max?
I did, and I will pull that information up later as you'll reading the box office because I can't remember the name of the movie and his thoughts.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me.
Cool.
So movie news, not too many today, but there's obviously we have the Golden Globes nominees, so we'll talk about those at the end. But first, Ryan O'Neal has passed away at the age of 82. He played Barry Lyndon in Kubrick's film of the same name, and he was also in 1972's What's Up, Doc, and 1973's Paper Moon, where he played alongside his 10-year-old daughter, Tatum O'Neal, who won an Oscar for that role. She was the youngest person to win an Oscar
Okay.
at 10 years old.
I actually don't recognize that name or him. I still haven't seen Barry Lyndon. That's on my need to see list. Or Paper Moon.
I just happened to watch it last year because I was assigned it from the Film Vultures, and I don't know if you would love it. Not a lot.
Yeah.
It's probably like lower on Kubrick's list of movies, but
What's your
lot of
favorite
you-
of his?
probably 2001: Space Odyssey.
Mine's probably Eyes Wide Shut, I think,
See, I still haven't seen that one,
which is
so
a Christmas movie.
I know that's why I kind of thought about watching it around this time of year.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Well, that's sad. Rest in peace, sir.
yeah. The Zone of Interest won Best Picture at the LA Film Critics Awards thing, so that's just another indicator of what the Oscars might look
Yeah,
like.
that's interesting to me. I think they picked Drive My Car last 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And Zone of Interest surprisingly hasn't been getting that many awards from places like the Golden Globe and others that I've seen. It has some, but not like the big ones. So I'll be curious to see. I still can't wait to see it, of course.
I know. A couple episodes ago, I talked about the upcoming movie, The Bike Riders. And normally I wouldn't go into this, but it's kind of had this tumultuous story, so I'll just finish up what the new news has said. So this is the movie starring Tom Hardy and Austin Butler, which was supposed to come out like this month and may have been an awards contender. It was owned by 20th Century Fox, which is technically Disney now, and it moved due to the strike. And then 20th Century Fox dropped the movie, basically saying, we don't want this movie anymore. They're having a lot of problems over there. So they just said, we're going to sell it to somebody. Focus Features were the one who bought it, and they have now claimed a release date of June 21st, 2024. So
Yeah, this is surprising to me. I remember seeing, I think, a cardboard stand-up at one of my theaters, and one of my friends, non-movie friends, said to me like, "Oh, I can't wait to see that movie. I'm really looking forward to it." And of course, we're Tom Hardy fans. Who isn't? So
yeah.
that sucks to hear.
But we'll see it this summer. So
yeah,
hopefully
it still comes out.
So Saw 11. News broke yesterday that they are moving ahead with the 11th movie in the Saw series after the success of Saw 10. Saw
What do you
X.
think of that?
I mean, it was obvious they were gonna try to continue this story. It'd be interesting to see if they do something with Shawnee Smith.
Yeah,
like the helper or something. I don't know.
yeah, Amanda, right? Is her character
Yeah,
name?
Amanda.
Yeah, my first reaction was like, sigh, another Saw sequel. But thinking back, the last one where they explored Kramer's beginnings, it was actually decent enough for a Saw movie. So if they continue that track, because the blonde woman, this is spoiler for Saw 10, the blonde woman at the end of that movie, she doesn't die, I don't think. So
yeah, it's just kind of insinuated that she might die, but who knows? They might actually do something with that.
Yeah, maybe they like her and Kramer face off again or something.
Yeah, but
and if you want to look at are you going to mention the Golden Globes?
Yeah.
You need a second to pull it up?
No, I got it right here. Cool. Why?
I was going to say I had another piece of news that's very small, but I can say that.
Shoot.
So the Dune 2 trailer finally came out. Did you end up watching it?
No, but there was another trailer like before now that came out.
Yeah.
That I did see, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch anything else.
So I tried, I couldn't withhold. I couldn't. So now I'm out, and I won't watch it again. I won't watch any more of them, unless I see a glimpse of it on the screen. But man, it looks great. I cannot wait for it. Oh man, we're getting closer. March. So yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, so I heard Austin Butler is in it. Like like you see him in the trailer, where in the one I saw he wasn't in the trailer at all.
So he must play the villain, because I didn't recognize his face.
Oh, okay.
Except if there's one part, and I'll tell you this about the trailer: there are scenes that are in black and white. I don't know if the movie will reflect that, but
yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah, but it looks great. This trailer is not too revealing. It doesn't seem. We kind of see all of our characters again. We see a little bit of the sandworm, a lot of quotes that mean nothing out of context. So I'm just so excited for it. So
I shouldn't be too worried, because I have seen the the original movie.
Yeah.
But
I've read and watched so many videos about Dune mythology, so I kind of know where the story's going to. But I guess as much of a surprise.
Another piece of news that you and I talked about, but we never brought to the show, is that Denis Villeneuve is almost done with the script for the third movie.
That's right.
Which would be called like the Messiah, or I can't remember.
I think you're right.
Yeah, and it would essentially continue some of the stories, and it's another book by the same author,
Frank Herbert.
Yeah, so I think Villeneuve wants to do it. Whether that happens or not, we'll see what the box office is like.
Yeah, I was reading some box office commotion today, and it seems like, and who knows, it seemed like the consensus for people that do predictions is that it'll make the same or maybe more. This sequel, it's had more time to build up more fans. Dune came out still kind of at the tail end of COVID.
Yeah.
And so who knows? Of course, you and I, we hope it breaks records, because we want to love this world. So that'll be cool. And we should double back, Mitch, and check on, remember the story about the HBO series about the Jesuit priests that were supposed to come, or the Bene Gesserits, I mean, that were supposed to be coming out? Wasn't that supposed to be a Warner Brothers HBO series? Don't you remember that?
Yeah, we should look into that again.
Yeah, because I haven't heard much about it.
I haven't heard anything. Huh.
All right, so tell us
All right,
the
I'll write that
big
down.
news with the Golden Globes.
So the Golden Globes were announced over the last week, over the weekend, Monday. I mean,
Yeah,
sorry,
Monday morning. Yep.
and no real surprises except for the fact that apparently May December is a musical or a comedy because it was nominated in Best Picture Musical or Comedy. But I
Yeah,
will
that's
just
so
kind of
stupid. Let's
so
talk about
weird.
that for a second. You remember, if you remember the year The Martian came out,
Yes.
that was put into musical or comedy, and that's one where it's like, okay, there are some jokes in The Martian,
Yeah.
so you could kind of stretch or bend it, but May December, there's no like this is like
There's
about
no
trauma.
jokes.
It's no joke. Nothing's really funny about that movie. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't remember laughing once. It's a very difficult subject matter.
yeah,
So best motion picture drama. Obviously, we got Oppenheimer, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, The Zone of Interest, and Anatomy of a Fall, which I was happy to see.
I guess no
Um,
holdovers being there is surprising.
yeah, I've seen it. Oh no, it's in musical or comedy. So
Right.
best picture musical or comedy: Barbie, Poor Things, American Fiction, The Holdovers, May December, and Air. The
Okay.
Nike movie, which
Yeah, I guess that's an interesting pick.
it had good buzz when it came out.
Yeah, I liked it.
So best director Bradley Cooper and Greta Gerwig both got a nom for their movies. Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things, Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer, Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon, and then surprisingly, Past Lives got a director nomination, yet it didn't get a Best Picture nomination.
Right, that's right. And
Oh
that's
yeah, it
another
did.
one.
Sorry, it did. I'm so sorry.
That's the one I'm thinking. I'm surprised Thomas Paine isn't there for May
American.
December.
Oh, for May December. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
But, whatever. Like you said, these aren't too surprising.
yeah. So best performance by an actor in a motion picture drama: Bradley Cooper, Killian Murphy. Bradley Cooper for Maestro, Killian Murphy for Oppenheimer, DiCaprio for Killers of the Flower Moon, Coleman Domingo for Rustin. He seems to be a shoe-in for
Yeah,
most award season ones now.
good for him.
Andrew Scott for All of Us Strangers. You have seen or
Don't think
haven't?
I've seen that.
No, apparently it's supposed to be really good. Another gay romance, but
That's right.
yeah. And then Barry Keoghan or in Saltburn.
Okay.
Um, Best Actress: Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon; Carey Mulligan, Maestro; Sandra Hüller, Anatomy of a Fall; Annette
Good.
Bening, Naiad; Greta Lee, Past Lives; and Kaylee Spaney, Priscilla. I mean,
Huh.
I think Kaylee Spaney was good and Greta Lee was fine, but I'm happy to see the other four.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though I don't know, I haven't seen Maestro yet, but
She
best
deserves it.
perform
She
does
deserves
she?
it. Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. One that we both haven't seen is Fantasia Barrino in The Color Purple, which comes out later this year.
I think also that December 22nd date.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot to watch after Christmas.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm happy to see this. Jennifer Lawrence for No Hard Feelings. Natalie Portman for May December. Because it's a comedy, obviously. Alma Poisty for Fallen Leaves.
That's an
Which you
interesting pick. Yeah, I remember I saw that. She is good in that. She is good in that. She's great.
you just said everyone around her seems to be a bad actor.
Yeah, the extras. It's and like I said, it could be a cultural thing, but
Yeah.
I had other small issues with that movie, but she was very good. She was
Okay.
intense, and you felt her pain. She really showed it on screen.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah,
And then Margot Robbie in Barbie and Emma Stone in Poor Things. I'll
cool.
just do a couple more categories here just for our listeners, and then I will include the link so you can check it out yourself. Um, Nicolas Cage, Dream Scenario,
Nice.
Timothy Chalamet, Wonka, Matt Damon for Air.
Okay.
This is musical or comedy lead actor. Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers, Joaquin
Good.
Phoenix, Beau is Afraid, and
That's a
Jeffrey.
surprising one
Yeah,
because there's not
yeah.
much other Beau is Afraid recognition anywhere.
That is totally true. That's totally true. Jeffrey Wright, American Fiction, which you
Great.
said he was great in.
He is. I can't wait for you to see that.
But I don't hear the buzz about it, but that's okay.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Speaking of Joaquin Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
there has been, I haven't seen a single anything on the Saturn Awards, the Critics' Choice, all these. I haven't seen anything for Napoleon. Just
No.
totally shut out.
I think it's really like I wouldn't be actually I will go down and check on visual effects to see if it got that in a second, but best supporting actor Willem Dafoe, Poor Things, De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, Ryan Gosling for Barbie, Charles Melton for May December,
Great.
and Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. And then just the last category I'll say is Best Supporting Actress, Emily Blunt, Oppenheimer, which I don't think she should be there. She barely did anything. Not that she didn't do anything, but like her role was just so small. And anyways,
I agree.
Danielle,
especially in a 3-hour movie.
yeah, exactly. But I barely even remember her role. Like I do, but Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, Jodie Foster in Naiad, Julianne Moore in May December, Rosamund Pike, Saltburn, and Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers. So,
that's the kitchen cook, right?
yeah, I think
that's sweet.
she is destined to be nominated for an Oscar. I've seen her name quite a bit, so that is exciting. Obviously, the Golden Globes, they do TV as well, so there's all that in there. The one interesting thing that people can't shut up about is their new category. Oh yeah, you sent this to me. And it is called Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. So I don't know what the parameters of this award are. Basically, you made a lot of money, so we're going to give you an award.
Right.
Nominated was Barbie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, John Wick Chapter 4, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer, Spider-Man Across the Universe, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, which a lot of people, are laughing at. But I mean, kind of a weird category.
It is weird because didn't Sound of Freedom make more than Mission Impossible? If it's gonna go by dollars amounts, it's a stupid category. It's really stupid.
But that's an interesting,
right? I mean, it definitely the Golden Globe body wouldn't choose to include that movie. So I don't know. It's just a dumb category. It's just like when the Academy tried to implement the most popular Oscar thing and then they rescinded it,
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let's move into box office.
Yeah, so this will be pretty quick. Box office has been pretty slow this past weekend, at least. A quick note: Wonka, which opens this coming weekend that we're talking about on the 15th or 16th, has already earned 43 million overseas. It was open in a whole bunch of non-domestic international markets, so that's a good sign-ish. The Boy and the Heron, this is pretty cool. The Boy and the Heron came in first place at 12.9 million. So that's the first time a Japanese movie is number one at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
Hunger Games is still doing pretty well with another 9.2 million in second place. And then another foreign language movies, Godzilla Minus One, the South Korean film, 8.5 million. And then Trolls 3 is still holding on there with 6.0 million in fourth place. And then in the fifth spot, Beyonce grabbed another 5.4 million. Her total's around 28, I think, domestically. And she had a 75% week 2 drop, which ain't great. But we talked about this last week. We talked about it last week. They should have waited a little longer because now it compared to Taylor Swift. But I will say, I worked this past Sunday. I think that was the first Sunday that I was there with this concert movie. And people are loving it, just like people love the Taylor Swift. It's a little bit of a different crowd, older, a little more diverse. And people are really, really loving it. And from the scenes and stuff I've seen, it's incredible. It's incredible. And I think it's probably, if you came over to my house with both 4K discs and said, "Do you want to watch Taylor Swift Eras or Beyonce?" I'd say Beyonce because that one's more of a documentary style, and you see the work that she put in because she wrote, produced, directed the whole thing. So
Yeah.
so that wraps up the box office.
Well, one more thing. I just want to say, I just was curious. Domestically, Godzilla minus one has made 26,483,000. Internationally, it's made 26,629. So it's almost the exact same, like domestically and internationally. So
worldwide, you mean
worldwide,
million? You said 26,000.
sorry, 26,629,000. So worldwide, it's made over $50 million on and then everyone is reporting that it was a $15 million budget.
Right, but the director.
Yeah, the director has come out and said, "I wish it was 15 million."
Yeah.
So this is good. This means we're going to get a lot more of this kind of stuff. We have a crowd in Canada who is open to this. Sorry, Canada and the United States who is open to this kind of stuff. That's really awesome.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's cool to see like this diversity in the box office top 5 here is awesome because it shows we have a concert movie, we have a Japanese movie, and we have a South Korean movie all in the top 5, which is just great. It's great for others to be able to tell cool stories, different stories, and it helps movie theaters, which we both care about. They have other alternate programming besides the big few studios that they have to rely on. So it's a good news. Even though these numbers are lower, it at least show there's a appetite out there from audiences to see some different shit. So,
and I like I always remember Del Toro, Guillermo del Toro's line at the Oscars where he said, "If you can get over the 1-inch barrier that is subtitles, you are open to a whole new world of movies." Yep. And it's totally true. Like subtitles, I was scared of them when I was younger. Like
same.
And now I can't watch something without them. So
yep, it's so funny how that works. That was the exact same. I had that stupid like, oh, it's subtitle. I have a friend who's like that. He won't go see any. I took him to Old Boy and he left early. And I'm like, man, you're missing an entire world of stories out there.
Some of my favorite movies are in a different language. And,
me too.
Because you're learning something about a different country like that you'll totally never get to experience.
Yep.
Anyways, let's that was our box office and movie news, which we bring you every week. Let's hop into what we've seen in the last week since our last episode. I guess I'll start with Leave the World Behind.
Yeah, that's a big one that was released on Netflix, right?
This is the big one. Yeah, big one was released on Netflix to copy exactly what you said. You didn't get to see it in theaters.
No.
But
I will. I'm going to see this one. I want to see this one.
Yeah, so this is a 2023 film starring Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, and Maya Hala. I don't know exactly how to spell her name, but she plays Mahershala Ali's daughter. Kevin Bacon also has a small role. This is directed by Sam Esmail, who people know for Mr. Robot. I don't know if you ever watched that, but people do love that show.
I've seen some of it, but he seems like a personal friend of one of my favorite movie podcasts called The Big Picture. One of the hosts is Sean Fennessy, and he comes on a lot, and he is a movie guy. He knows more about movies than both of us combined. Sam Esmail does. Yeah, he's that's good. Really nerdy with it. So
I like people that know about movies making movies because, or it comes from a place of actual love of the movie. So
definitely
of film.
So what's it about?
So one morning, Ethan Hawke and his wife Julia Roberts, Amanda and Clay, she wakes up and she's looking out of the city and she says, "We're going on a vacation." And Ethan Hawke's just waking up. She's packing her bag, and he says, "What? What do you mean?" She's like, "I already booked it. Airbnb out in the middle of nowhere. We need to get away. I fucking hate people." She literally says that. She's looking out the window. She's like, "I can't stand looking at another person. I need to get away." She's like in project management or dealing with people, human resources or something.
Got it.
So they go to this they have money. They go to this they live in New York, but they go to this absolutely beautiful house. upstate New York. I don't know.
Yeah, upstate New
I
York.
don't.
Yep.
Yeah, or outstate. Is that what it's called? Upstate, where
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
referred to as
kind of
upstate. Yep.
remote.
Yep.
And they're near the ocean, and uh,
Probably the lake.
I, maybe I don't mean New York.
So yeah, typically New Yorkers travel to upstate New York, Syracuse, Rochester, Utica. There's a whole bunch of upstate cities, but you can do camping, all kinds of stuff. But like Buffalo, that all borders the lake. But maybe they went to Vermont or Connecticut, or
Long Island, it says.
could have been Long Island. Yeah.
I don't know. So they were they're at the beach one day, and it's a really really cool scene. There's two kids and then Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, and they're sitting on this beach, and they see this huge oil tanker liner way out in the middle of the thing, and his daughter says, "Oh look, Dad." She's like 13, and she says, "Oh look, Dad, that's so cool." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, that is cool." Well, all of a sudden it starts getting closer and closer and closer. It reminded me a lot of the scene in The Lost World, Jurassic Park. I don't know if you've ever seen that,
I
where
have.
the boat keeps coming and coming closer to and it crashes. Well, essentially, this one crashes as well. It starts coming into the beach, and they grab their stuff and they're running. Really cool scene, really tense, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then they go back to the house, and that night, uh, Mahershala Ali and his daughter, who is like 25, and she's played by Mahala, and but her name is Ruth. And they show up and they say, "Hey," they're all dressed to the nines. They say, "Hey, this is our house. We know you rented it, but we're stuck. We can't go back to my place. I hurt my leg." They're kind of coming up with excuses, and they're like, "We need to stay here tonight, please." And Julia Roberts is like so against it, like,
Right.
but eventually they allow themselves to stay. So I'll kind of leave it there. Crazy stuff starts to happen. It's a dystopian type movie, obviously. Uh and crazier and crazier stuff started to happen. You don't know who's at fault, what's going on, but man, this goes down some crazy, crazy roads. Uh, Really smartly written. It's based on a book,
Okay.
and I I read the kind of the synopsis of the book, and they did change a few things. Like, so like at one point the daughter goes out in the backyard, and there's like 60 deer just standing in the backyard. The lights turn on and she sees all of them.
Ooh, weird.
um the score is really good, adds a lot of tension. uh this movie is so tense. I had trouble sleeping that night after watching it, because I went to bed and I just like, my mind is just turning, because it's a lot of what we're all worried about today,
Mhm.
like Russia, like what's, or this or that. I'm not gonna get into it, because the answers are kind of unclear. Um
So in the plot description on Letterboxd, it says a cyber attack knocks out their devices.
yeah.
Did you mention that?
So I guess I should have said that. Obviously, the main
Well,
thing that
that could have been a
happens,
spoiler, but I don't know.
well,
It's
it's
in the
it's a
description. That's why I
yeah,
mentioned it.
it's a cyber attack, but it's also a lot of different things, and you don't really know what's going on. But
Yeah.
essentially, you do find out like almost immediately, all like nothing works. Like
Okay.
no
Yeah.
electricity works, but phone calls, TV, radio, even satellite phone. Like some guy gets a satellite phone at one point, doesn't work.
Okay.
There's some really crazy scenes, like one involving an airplane, and
Cool. Cool.
um, so really good. The CG is really good.
Oh, that's good
It's
to
just
hear.
it's very tense. It's like a thriller. It'll just keep you kind of guessing, and there's a lot of people who are unhappy with the ending.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I've heard too. I don't know anything about the ending, but I've heard people are
I'll just
saying
say
it
it.
leaves it ambiguous, or I don't know.
Yeah, you don't like it doesn't give you like an absolute idea of what might have happened, but I think you can kind of make your own thing out of it.
Okay.
But maybe we'll talk about that a bit more if you see it.
Okay.
I'm at 4 stars with this. I could be lower, but I like what it did. It really evoked a response out of me.
Cool.
And when a movie does that, when I couldn't sleep. I'm like thinking about it, and just my like nerves, right? So I think give this one a shot. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes, and there's a part in the middle where there's a lot of talking,
Okay.
like characters getting to know each other kind of thing, and um, that could have maybe been shortened,
Okay.
but yeah. Anyways, so let's leave the world behind. It's a high recommend for me. What are you gonna tell us about?
So I want to talk about Eileen. This was in less than 1,000 theaters. I think 600 theaters this week, and I think it will expand a little bit after this. It's 2023. It's a thriller as well. It's set in 1960s Massachusetts, which is just so funny because there's been so many Boston, Massachusetts area, New England
Yeah,
movies we've seen recently.
yeah.
And here we have Thomasin McKenzie as Eileen, the titular Eileen, and then Anne Hathaway playing Rebecca.
Hmm.
There's a couple other, yeah. So right there, it's like a pretty cool cast. Have you seen this trailer?
No, I've just seen little clips, but I thought Eileen was Anne Hathaway because they kind of make her look like the star.
Yeah, they kind of really do. And so the basis of the plot is 1960s, small town Massachusetts, somewhere like where my dad probably grew up, a small 60,000 people town.
Hmm.
Um, Thomasin McKenzie, Eileen plays a pretty unhappy prison secretary, and she is really enthralled by Anne Hathaway when she comes in as the prison psychologist. It's a youth prison. It's all for boys under 18 or 18 and younger. Um, and we see Eileen lives at home with her dad still. She's probably, I don't know, 22, 24.
Yeah.
And you can tell right. So the opening scene, you can tell right away this girl has some problems. The opening scene is Eileen sitting in a crappy car where if she leaves the heat on and the windows up, she'll suffocate because the car pours
Oh
smoke out. It's a shitty old car.
gosh.
But so she's sitting by herself at, you know what the term makeout point means?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the place where the kids go and like hook up in their
Yeah.
cars. So she's sitting there alone watching two teens make out and hook up, and she's like, you can see her getting kind of turned on and worked up by it. She reaches out of her car, grabs a handful of snow, and throws it down the front of her pants to like cool her off or stop her being horny. It's just weird. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
what's going through her mind? And then we see other things like that throughout. Her dad is an alcoholic, major alcoholic, retired police chief for the town, and he's just a real piece of shit. He says really mean things to her, maybe not even some intentionally, some not intentionally. You can just see she's miserable. She's stuck in this prison job. They have her, Thomasin McKenzie's a very pretty girl, but they have her very no makeup, crappy hair, shitty clothes. They have her very tamped down, and she's just like a secretary there. But then, yeah, here comes Anne Hathaway, and she, of course, is like the most beautiful woman anyone has seen around this town in a long time. And Eileen immediately gloms onto her and is like into her. And, it's like she's trying to have a relationship with her. She like sees her as like, oh my God, I love this woman. I want to date her.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, Eileen also is having, pretty hardcore fantasies of one of the prison's guards just coming up, pulling her hair and having sex with her. So she has these really weird, and she just seemed to probably had some trauma in her life.
Hmm.
There's a point at the beginning of the third act where the story takes a turn, and this was great. I got a full body chill. I didn't see it coming at all, and it just shocked me. I was like, no way.
Wow.
It's a monologue between the two, and like I
Yeah.
said, the story pivots to something else, and from then on it was like really gripping, and I'm like, holy shit, where's this gonna go? um I love the score is really cool for this time frame. And again, just like in the holdovers, this movie is very well realized of what this time period in New England would be like, with the clothing, lots of wool and crappy old wooden houses. And man, the accents, the really Boston accents are so wicked hot. They're very thick, and they do them well. And both Hathaway and Thomas and McKenzie are great. Thomas and McKenzie, I think she's actually British, and her Boston accent isn't good enough. That's the only complaint really I have
Yeah,
about it.
I could see that.
This is based on a book, yeah, because you've heard her talk in
Yeah.
Last Night in Soho or
Mhm.
in Leave No Trace. She was amazing in.
Yeah, I
Um,
love her.
she's really good.
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit. Yeah, she's really an interesting actress. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. It's a
Okay.
thriller. There's more that happens. There's a few other characters dripped in there.
What would you
And
rate it?
I gave it
Sorry.
4 stars. I really liked it a
Nice.
lot. I
That's
really liked it a
awesome.
lot. Yeah, it's great. I recommend it to just about everybody. I think it's rated R probably for the subtle sexual stuff. It's not
Yeah.
really, there's no like graphic sexual things in it. It's very subtle. But yeah,
Huh.
good performances, fun story, and a nice little right turn right at the beginning of the third act. So I'd recommend Eileen to anybody.
That's awesome. So I guess I'll just briefly talk about Leo, because I don't have a ton to say about this. It
Yeah, yeah.
is an Adam Sandler project, produced. I think maybe his last for Netflix, because I know he signed like a 5 movie
Yeah.
deal.
Yep.
So Adam Sandler, this is an animated movie. Adam Sandler voices Leo, a class pet. He is a Tartarian lizard, I think. I can't remember. I looked it up because I was interested. I'm interested in reptiles and stuff, so it was cool. And then Bill Burr plays the other class pet. It's a little tortoise or
Oh,
turtle.
that's fun. I love Bill Burr.
Yeah, so a pretty good duo there, obviously, and um, essentially in this world, all animals could talk to humans, but they don't.
Okay.
Um, but they get this new teacher in. Well, anyways, I'll just read the log line here. A 74-year-old lizard named Leo and his turtle friend decide to escape from the terrarium of a Florida school classroom where they have been living for decades. Um, so it's really cool. You get to see the school, go through changes because you see his life, like, so like the 50s, 60s, 70s. Um, and this group of kids, they get a new teacher, a substitute teacher, because their other teacher is going on pregnancy leave. And this teacher says, you all have to start taking the lizard home for a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees that as an excuse to see the world and do things he wants to do. Um, but then he starts to take an interest in the kids and helping them. And this movie becomes very sweet, and it has a lot of really good humor. It is way better than it needed to be. The trailers made me want to peel my skin off, but this movie is actually pretty damn good. Um, even as like an adult, like if you want to sit down and watch this like with your kid, or you're gonna have a good time. This is one of the better ones. Like it's not like the Paw Patrol movie or Trolls 3. There's a lot of good humor here, and most of it comes from Adam Sandler. Not Bill Burr has a few moments, but he's kind of just Bill Burr.
Yeah, I see you also have Jason Alexander, Rob Schneider, Joe Coy is another comedian I like a lot,
Mhm.
Allison Strong, and Gloria Manning.
It's
Did you watch it with your
basically,
kids?
yeah, I did, and this was their second time watching it, and they were still in love with it, still laughing. So it held their attention for a second time. They were happy enough to watch it again with me. It has both of his kids in it again as characters, and his
I
wife
saw
as a
that.
character.
I see. So
Um,
just looking at the people that are in this, Sadie Sandler, Sonny
mhm.
Sandler, Jackie Sandler, and then also Nick Swartzen, who is not his family member, but someone who's been in a lot of his movies.
I didn't even recognize Jason Alexander or Rob Schneider. Um, Cecily
Cool.
Strong plays like an 70-year-old teacher, and she does a really good job. I didn't even know it was her, and then I looked it up, and then as I knew, because I love her from Saturday Night Live, and
Yeah,
as I'm listening, I'm like, oh my god, that is her, and she sings. This is actually kind of part musical, by the way.
that's right. That's right.
Has a lot of the music. The songs didn't need to be there. They don't really add a lot to the plot or anything. Uh, but sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're cute. Other than that, the songs are here nor there. But
Okay.
yeah, that's all I'll say about Leo. If you have kids, sit down and watch it with them. You won't be disappointed.
What'd you rate it?
3.5.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna
Oh,
talk.
please tell us about this cello experience and everything. I need to hear what happened there.
All right. Yeah. So, man, this one I
you,
feel like I
you
was
were about to
tricked
talk
by.
about something you wanted to talk about, and then I just threw that at you, and you're like,
No, not
"Fuck
really.
you."
I mean, there's really not much more that there's not too many more good things I have to say here.
You didn't have a great week.
We'll see. Yeah, not really, man. So, all right. So, The Cello is a 2023 movie directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, which when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I recognize that director's name. Okay, cool. Look at the cast list: Jeremy Irons, Tobin Bell, who was also in Saw recently. And that's all I knew. As I have talked about on this show, I try to not watch trailers, try to not read the plot summary. I've just found I end up liking movies better if I don't have any expectations. So of course, I text you and tell you, hey, have you heard of this? No. Send you a picture of it. You're like, that's funny. And I'm like, what's funny? And you're like, by the description of the plot. And like I said, even though I sent you the picture of it, I still didn't read it. My eyes go right by it.
But I don't know if I conveyed this over text to you. I didn't include it in our last week's coming to theaters because it just seemed too oddball, like, and I didn't want to have to read that plot
Yeah.
summary.
And like a lot of other movies we don't include are the Christian ones, the
Right.
religious ones, and the Indian ones, to be fair too. Like
There's a lot of Indian ones that come out. Like my theater plays them a lot, and that's
Me
great.
too.
But I don't know if our audience really would seek those
I don't
out.
think so. I wouldn't. It's not something I'm interested in. Every now and then there's an RRR, right? But yeah, for the most part, that's just a waste of everybody's time. Nobody's going to go see them.
Yeah.
We aren't most likely either. So yeah, so this wasn't religious, but the real red flag I should have noticed was there was like 40 reviews of it on Letterboxd and maybe one review on Rotten Tomatoes and no audience reviews.
Oh.
And I was the only ticket sold. So here's the plot synopsis. An aspiring cellist learns the cost of his brand new cello is a lot more insidious than he first thought. And you're right, that sounds absolutely stupid. And there is a line in this movie that I wrote down because it was so stupid. Someone actually screams at another character in all seriousness, "This isn't because of my cello." Like people are dying, and then one of the characters says to his girlfriend, "This isn't," and I'm like, oh God, no.
Leave me and my cello alone.
Yes, it's so goddamn stupid. So this movie was terrible. Just awful. The director's name I recognize because he's directed some of the sequel Saw films. I know you like them. I don't really remember them, to be honest. I couldn't tell you the difference between 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he did Spiral, which I know you don't like that one, at least.
Yeah.
So it was just really, really bad. The score is annoying, obnoxious, and overbearing, and it's trying to push its scary tone too much. The special effects are really cheesy and corny.
I need just like a little bit of spoilers. Like, is the cello killing people?
Yes, the cello is evil. It's kind of like the monkey paw. You know that story?
Yes.
It's a famous Twilight Zone episode, and then The Simpsons did a parody of it on their.
I know the Simpsons one better.
Yes, the monkey's paw. It's just like that. So Tobin Bell runs a shop of oddities, and this character goes and buys a cello that the opening scene is the old time days where cello is furiously playing, and all the people hearing him play it just start killing each other, and an old lady breaks another old lady's arm, and someone takes a knife and stabs it while he plays his cello.
Oh no.
And so then we cut to the present day, and it's a struggling musician. He wants to buy it because it looks like a nice one, and Tobin Bell knows it's evil. And like there's a lady accidentally picks his cello up. People keep cutting themselves on its strings because they're razor sharp, and they bleed like fountain of blood because of that little cut from a guitar string.
Oh man.
And this lady's driving the car. The cello case opens, and some ghostly looking figure comes out, and she looks in her rear view and sees it, and that causes her to crash, tumble over. She gets out of her car, and she gets ran over.
That's horrible.
And it does this thing I hate in movies, and we've seen this a lot, not even in bad movies. So the guy is giving a lesson to a girl, right? His girlfriend walks in and sees, she had cut her finger, like I said. girlfriend, his actual girlfriend, walks in and sees it, and it does, and so the scene does the whole, "What are you doing?" And really, he was just helping her because she cut her finger and was bleeding. And so she runs out, like, "Fine, take her," you know. And instead of him go, and instead, so he runs up to his girlfriend. Instead of saying, "Hey, she just cut her hand. She was bleeding. I was trying to wrap her finger with something." He just is like, "Why are you doing?" You know, like, I hate when
Yeah.
like relationship fights start over the dumbest shit. Whereas if people just talked
Me
normally,
too.
it would
Me
have been
too.
like, oh, okay. So I just walked in at the wrong time. So it does that. It has stupid ass jump scares and a ton of them. And the biggest thing that I noticed was everyone in the movie is speaking Arabic. This is set in the UAE or Dubai. Everyone in the movie is speaking Arabic except for the two actors who don't speak that normally, Jeremy Irons and Tobin Bell. So you hear them speak English. Everyone else is speaking Arabic, even though it's set over there. So
And are they just in it for a small amount of time? Those
very
two?
small roles,
I
very, very, very
figured.
small
Yeah.
roles. So it's like, they did it as a trick, and it worked on me. They got those two actors, listed
Yeah.
them at the top, and yeah, it was really shitty. I hated it. I gave it 1 star.
That's too bad.
It's not even so bad. It's good. It's just stupid. It's
Yeah.
just really stupid. I don't know how it got made. I don't know who paid for it. Um, God, yeah, I really hated it. I feel tricked. So that was the Cello. Do not see it.
I thought you like skipped out on it, but you watched till the end.
I skipped out on the last 20 minutes, 25
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
And that's where I went in. And really the reason I did was because that theater I noticed was showing Die Hard in Dolby, and
Hmm.
it had started, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Like the trailers were done, and then Die Hard was going 10 minutes. So I walked over and went in to see Die Hard. And I just want to mention that yeah, I saw Die Hard again. It was awesome. I hadn't seen it in many, many, many years.
Yeah.
I was just reminded how good Bruce Willis is or was
Yeah.
at that time. The villain is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Carl, not Carl, but the black cop, I forgot his name. He played Carl in that show he was on. He was the police officer guy.
Yeah. I always forget his name
Family
too.
Matters is the
Yeah.
show. But anyway, yeah, Die Hard is still good. It's still a fun Christmas movie.
Reginald Vel Johnson.
That's it. Thank you. So yeah, so that's the Cello and Die Hard both. The Cello, I went from like really, really bad to really good. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, don't see the Cello. Go see Die Hard
Go
instead.
see Die Hard.
It's still showing in a few theaters near me. A couple
Okay.
nights coming this week, so people listening, you might still be able to go catch it. It was great on the
Um.
big screen. The remaster looks awesome.
Yeah. Every year I watch Die Hard, or like I don't watch it every year, but every time I do watch it, I'm reminded how good it actually is. Like
Yeah,
it's not just a dumb action movie. It's actually really good.
yeah, it's
Um.
perfect. It's perfect.
So I'll talk quickly about The Sacrifice Game. It is a Christmas horror movie that jumped to um, Shutter
Okay,
last week, streaming on Shutter. And the tagline goes like this: It's bad enough that boarding school students Samantha and Clara can't go home for the holidays, but things take a deadly turn when a murderous gang arrives on their doorstep, just in time for Christmas.
okay.
So there's three girls, and they're at this boarding house. It's like the holdovers. They can't go
I
home
was
for
gonna say it
Christmas.
sounds like the
Yeah.
holdovers.
And they're we're in between. We see them at the boarding house. We see this like gang of four people, and they're going around. They kind of like the strangers. They're just going into people's houses and killing them or
Okay,
tying them up, and they're on some people they're lifting them up and finding tattoos and cutting the tattoos off and taking this bits of skin, and eventually they end up at the boarding house with these girls, and there's a reason why they're at the boarding house. There's some satanic stuff, some stuff going on, maybe witches. You don't really know where it's going to go. And I don't want to give too much away. Uh, I was there's a it dragged so much in the middle that I was about ready to call it off, but then it makes like a turn. There's a turn with a certain character that I should have seen coming, but I didn't, and I really liked where they went with it.
okay.
And it's yeah, it's very interesting, and it's worth, I think, like your time, it's 80 minutes. Yeah, 90 minutes, hour and a half, in and out. You could do a lot worse for a horror movie.
Okay.
I gave it 3 stars. Uh, but I'm not as high on it as they were over at Cinematics. But I think it's a decent Chris. I don't know.
Christmas horror movie.
It didn't have to be Christmas. There was no reason for it to be Christmas. There's just some trees in the background.
Right,
It's so
right.
weird how many Christmas horror movies we're getting this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, but anyways, worth your time if you have Shutter. If not, I mean, you're not missing too much.
Okay. All right,
So
cool.
yeah, it's better than it
Um,
had to be.
I'm gonna just quickly mention Silent Night. So
Yes.
this is that movie we talked about it a little bit, starring Joel Kinnaman. This is also didn't have to be a Christmas movie.
Okay.
I think they saw the script and said, "We need something for Christmas. Let's put this set at Christmas." Okay, opening scene is Joel Kinnaman is chasing down some criminals. He's a cop, just like he was in RoboCop, just like he was in Suicide Squad. Although I guess he was Army Man in Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick Flag,
Yep.
Sergeant or Lieutenant Rick Flag. Um,
Excuse me.
he's chasing down some gang bangers. They look like kind of like Mexican mafia or something like that. You know, bandanas, big Range Rover. Anyway, accident happens. They end up shooting him, hurting him. He wakes up in the hospital and his throat has been shot. He cannot speak. They call it Silent
Oh.
Night because this is a movie where not a single character says anything. There's a scene where he's like screaming into the mirror and you hear nothing. So this was pretty dumb, unfortunately. This is the definition of style over substance. They had a good idea of doing a movie with no dialogue, but there are scenes in here where it makes no sense that not another character would say a word. They should have just done like we just saw with No One Will Save You, where a few people talk, a few people say things. They didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a gimmick and it doesn't make sense. And yeah, just outside of that, it's just pretty generic cop action movie with Joel Kinnaman, and he's not terrible, but he's just not that likable or that interesting to watch on screen. So this gets 1.5 stars from me. It's really forgettable. I'm already forgetting pieces of the plot. I don't recall it. It didn't drag that much. It kind of goes by pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's under 2 hours, but yeah, skip it. That's Silent Night.
It's
So
really interesting because on Rotten Tomatoes and all the other sites, it seems that critics are liking this more than audiences are. Like, it's got like thousands of 1-star ratings on Google, 49% on Rotten Tomato, but 60% by the critics.
yeah, I guess they like the gimmick, or maybe I have another theory. They're sympathetic to John Woo. I forgot to mention this is John Woo director
Yeah.
of Face Off,
Mhm.
Paycheck, one of the Mission Impossible movies, one of the early ones he did, Hard Target. He's a classic action director from like the 80s. So that's all I want to say about Silent Night. I really wouldn't recommend it. It's just if you're desperate, I guess it's okay, but there's so much better out there to watch. So I would say skip Silent Night.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna quickly talk about my last 2 movies here.
Okay.
The first one I want to talk about is one of your favorites of the year so far, Flora and Son.
Yeah, what'd you think
And
of this one?
so
Oh,
I
do you
love
want to
this.
set it up, I guess?
Well, I'll set it up a little bit. I love this director, John Carney, and writer of this movie, because I love his movie Sing Street. It's one
Of
of my
course.
favorites. And the only name I think you'll recognize is Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes.
He is in this movie, and then Eve Houston is the main star. But and
Who
then
is
his
daughter of Bono?
right, yeah, Bono, and
Yeah.
then she has a son named Max. Her name is Flora, and they don't get along. They hate each other. At one point, she even kind of says, you know, to her friend, "I wish you he was never born," kind of thing.
Yep.
Like they really like are going through a really rough time. He's about 15, 16 maybe, and this guy comes the one of the cops sorry the cop a cop comes and says, you need to get him a hobby or else he's going to be in juvie in a year.
Yeah, he's gotten caught stealing from stores a couple of times.
Yeah, next time he gets caught stealing or doing something he isn't supposed to be, he's going to juvie. I'm not going to be able to you know save him anymore.
Yep.
So excuse me. So his mom buys him a guitar. He has no interest in the guitar. She starts taking guitar lessons, and with Joseph Gordon-Levitt online, and things just start to go from there. It's a very sweet mother and son story. In some ways, it's sweet. It's very real life. Like it's two very real characters, and then her rough relationship with her ex-husband, his dad, and stuff. But I really liked it. The songs aren't as great as they were in Sing Street.
Right.
I don't know if I would listen to any of these songs outside of but this movie's it's a real testament to the love of music and what music can do to people. And
exactly.
Yeah, and it shows what it can do. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. It is streaming now, so go check that out.
Yeah, I think it's on Apple. And what would you rate it?
4. I gave it 4.
Yeah, I think I was up there too. I really liked it. It was just heartwarming. It's another one of those feel good.
Yeah, she's really good too. The daughter of Bono.
She's great. She's got tough skin. She's not a pushover. She says what's on her mind, even though it could be the wrong place, wrong time. She's a young mom. You can tell that she had her kid young, so she has a lot of energy to fight back with him. So
yeah, she's like. Yeah. She doesn't even seem like she's 30. Maybe she is, but
I think late 20s, definitely.
Yeah, early. So, so
then
the other movie I want to talk about quickly is it's called Christmas Evil. It's from 1980. Came out. The tagline says, "First came Halloween, then Friday the 13th, and now Christmas Evil."
Okay.
It was originally titled You Better Watch Out, and then it was known as A Terror in Toyland, and then eventually it changed its name to Christmas Evil, which is still a stupid title. Christmas Evil, like, it just sounds dumb.
Yeah.
Essentially, you got this young boy. It's Christmas Eve. They see Santa come down the chimney. They're all excited about it, and then he's like, oh, and then he goes to bed. But then he's like, wait a second. And then he goes back downstairs and he sees Santa like defiling his mother, basically.
Oh, nice.
But it's not Santa, obviously. It's his dad, right? But it messes him up for life. Like, he basically becomes like this guy who he has a naughty and nice book. He watches the children in his neighborhood. He writes their name in the naughty and nice book, writes what they did nice, what they did naughty. And this movie was kind of but then it really went somewhere. I really enjoyed it. It's a really good look into a psychotic person breaking and becoming more and more psychotic, and his reasons for doing what he's doing. He has like principled villain kind of thing going on. Like, I am doing this because the kids don't deserve better, right? They deserve better than this.
Yeah.
So it's a good little Christmas horror movie. I think if you're looking for something like that, definitely check this one out. The first like half an hour, you might be just kind of like, oh, this just seems like another 80s schlock, but it's a cult classic now. And I would definitely give it a shot. So,
okay. Was there any recognizable actors in it?
So, yes, they're only the guy who plays Santa. He's great. I don't know him from anything, but his name's Brandon Maggart.
Okay.
And holy shit, he was great. He's still alive. He's 89. Wow. Oh my gosh! And one of his children is he's the father of Fiona Apple. If you know who that is, the singer.
That's funny.
Yeah, interesting. But he's great in this movie as this like psychopathic Santa Claus. He's really good. Like, he's got the Santa laugh down pat. It's crazy. But his brother is played by Jeffrey DeMunn, really young Jeffrey DeMunn, and I'm like looking at him. I'm like, I know this guy. He played Dale in The Walking Dead. the guy with the
Oh, of
RV.
course I know
But he's
Dale.
got
Yeah.
he's got brown hair
Yeah, yeah.
and he's really skinny. And I'm like, I know this guy. I looked it up and
Oh,
yeah,
that is so funny. I used to love The
yeah,
Walking Dead, so that's
me
cool.
too, me too. So I was like, it's Dale. Um, yeah. So good little horror movie if you're looking for something like Christmassy to watch. I had a really good time with it. So
Okay.
3.5 stars, I think. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
All right, good. I'm going to do some quick rapid fire ones here as well. So I just want to quickly mention The Abyss. It was its 30th, I don't know, 35th, finally released back in theaters. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid, probably, 8 or 9 years old. I remember liking it. This is, of course, James Cameron's prequel or preview to T2. I think this is in between Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, maybe. Anyway, um, 15 minutes into the movie, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's why this is so good. So it was just phenomenal. The Ed Harris is so good. The whole crews are good. Um, I don't think I need to explain the story. Everyone knows the Abyss. It's an underwater research vessel. Shit goes wrong. Could be international issue. And it was just damn good. And the 4K looked amazing. And I went and saw it in an AMC Dolby theater. And it flew by, and by the end, my emotions are invested in these characters. They have that liquid in this movie where you swallow it and you can breathe while you're underwater, so that pressure won't
Right.
crush you. I remember that from being a kid, and I also remember there's an awesome scene in here with massive tidal waves, and it brought back a memory of me being. I'm always like, I'm a very like a fear of mine is like giant tidal waves. Not that it won't keep me out of the ocean, but I would love to one day see a huge wave in person. Like I
I
love the wave in Deep Impact. Um,
yes.
but this I think was the very first one that I saw where I was like, whoa, can you imagine a wave that tall coming at you? So it was just great. I wish it was there longer. It was one showing, so one day and one showtime, 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. That's it. But on the
Yeah.
poster I got on the back, and I think we mentioned this, it's coming out soon on 4K. So is True Lies, and so are two of his other movies. So
Yeah. Oh,
that's exciting. We can
definitely.
get to those soon.
That's awesome.
I
Um,
also, yeah,
I don't know if you would even remember, but was there any new scenes, like new sequences, or is
I
it
wouldn't
just?
remember.
I know I'm gonna keep looking while you tell us about this next movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't remember. And Jim Cameron does introduce the movie at the beginning, and but all I remember him saying is like, I liked making this. It was fun. I do want to mention one thing. There's an effect used in this movie
Mm,
that is then used in T2. It's where the thing, instead of it turning into
yeah.
liquid metal, it's like liquid water and it can
Yeah.
move through spaces. And I'm like, oh, that's the same effect used in T2. So that was cool to see. Um, so yeah, The Abyss. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's good for all ages. It's awesome. PG-13. All right, so the next one was The Boys in the Boat. This was George Clooney directed. This was the
Right.
AMC Unseen movie where just where I saw American Fiction, just where I saw The Next Goal Wins. It comes out in a few weeks. They're showing it. They don't tell you the title of the movie before you go see it. It's only $5. Um, and this one that I went to at the front, I get in and the lady says, "Oh, we're running a little behind. It's maybe 10 minutes late." It didn't start till 50 minutes late.
Oh
So
wow.
I know, but luckily I had walked into Waitress the musical, and I was just watching that while the other one got ready, and that's
Right.
why I was sending you pictures from it, which it does actually look pretty cute. I hope you end up checking it out. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, this is pretty lackluster. I don't have much to say. I just want to do a quick mention. It's 2.5 star for me. It's George Clooney directed. There's some actors in here who I didn't recognize. Everyone does a decent job. The setting looks pretty good for the 1930s. It's a true story about a crew that is at the Washington State University that goes on to, and again, this is in the log line, they go on to win an Olympic medal. They're a shitty team originally. So it's a sports movie, but it's about crew or, regattas and rowing, which is a little different topic than we've seen other sports movies before. And yeah, it's totally fine. There's a silly love story in it
Yeah.
that's tacked on. The women in here are just ornaments or extensions of the men. They have no interiority or characters about themselves, which is fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that, like some people do, but it just makes for another like, okay, we've seen this movie so many times. Um, Joel what's his name? Edgerton.
Mm-hmm.
He's the coach. I like him.
I like him
Um,
too.
yeah, he's pretty good as the coach. He's a hardliner, and yeah, that's the boys in the boat. It's just like,
Mm.
unfortunately to say, it's another George Clooney directed movie where like it's not bad, it's not great, it's just okay. And I could
Yeah.
see that this maybe wanted to have some Oscar hopes. You can tell by some of the music cues, music swells, and people saying, "Yeah, you good, go get it," an underdog story. So that's the boys in the boat. It comes out, I think, later this year. I'm sure it'll be coming to streaming, probably Amazon, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And then the very last thing is The Boy and the Heron. I saw that tonight. So I was gonna skip this one. You and I have talked before. Neither of us are that into anime that much. I know that people love it. This is Hayao Miyazaki movie. He is a prolific animator, right?
Hmm.
And has directed some of the most beloved anime movies out there. And I saw that this had an English dub. We were just talking about subtitles. I usually prefer subtitle movies, but the English dub has a massive cast. So
Yeah, and when they do these movies with the English dub, they do them really well. The Miyazaki
yes,
ones, like they've gone
yes,
back and done. They have like a really usually star-studded, well done cast for the English.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
You have Luke Skywalker.
Mark Hamill,
Thank
Robert
you, Mark
Pattinson.
Hamill, Robert Pattinson. Um, who's the dad? Batman. Christian
Which
Bale is the
oh, okay.
father. Um, Gemma Chan, and on and on and on. The cat, even Florence Pugh, I think maybe has a character here. So
Wow.
that attracted me to it, and because it's been getting lots of awards and it's probably going to be nominated for Best Animated. So it's a story of a kid whose mother dies during the war early on, and him and his father have to move. He's sad, depressed, doesn't want to go to school and meet other kids. He runs into a heron, which is a type of bird, obviously, and the heron kind of whisks him away to a fantasy land. Now, I think I might just not be smart enough for this movie. I can tell there's metaphor here that I wasn't picking up on. The animation, of course, is beautiful, but yeah, I just couldn't get that drawn into it.
Mm.
I don't want to. I don't have anything to trash it by because it wasn't bad. I think it'd be a great kids movie. Like kids might really love it, but yeah, it's just totally fine. Maybe there's another Miyazaki movie that will work better on me, but The Boy and the Heron was just sweet. It was just fine. It's a 3-star movie. The voice acting was fun to listen to the English version.
Yeah.
I think if I had watched the Japanese one, I really would have gotten distracted and maybe even left early just because
Mm.
yeah, just wasn't that excited about it or into it. So, if you come across it and you check it out, that I'd love to hear your take. And I'm sure there are film scholars out there that would say, "Oh, you just totally don't get it." It's kind of like Soul,
Mhm.
kind of like Pixar's Soul, where
It
the world he
either worked
goes
for
to.
you or it didn't.
No, no, I mean where he goes to the other realm,
Oh,
he
oh.
sees souls or little creatures being born. They're floating up because they're about to be born. He's searching for his dead mother. So that kind of thing. And they're shaped kind of like the little people in Soul were. So yeah,
Oh,
that's The Boy
okay.
and the Hare, and I wish it well on its awards race, but this isn't one I'll revisit. I wasn't too crazy about it.
Yeah, I think it has a chance of winning actually.
I do too.
But just because it's supposedly his last movie, I know Andrew Martin is out there listening to this right now, and he's upset with you,
I
and
know,
he'll be
right?
upset to know I've seen very little Miyazaki.
Same.
I will get there. I promise. I'm hoping once my kids get a little older, I'll be able to watch them with
Yeah.
them.
There's some I want to see, and like I
Yeah,
said, I'm not going to put this movie down. It just didn't grab me.
yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Well, you've been talking a lot. Thank you for letting us know. Do you guys not have herons and like have you seen a heron?
I think I have. I don't know if I
Oh,
have them here in Georgia, but I know they're in the United States.
we have them a lot in Canada.
Oh yeah,
they're blue herons, like they're blue and they yeah, like my parents used to have a pond and it would come try to eat the fish.
yeah. I've definitely
They're
seen cranes, and I know cranes look kind of similar to herons,
okay.
long
Okay.
legs.
Yeah.
All right,
But
so let's
yeah.
move on to what's coming to theaters and streaming, right?
Yeah, so this week, already streaming on the 12th Asteroid City is streaming for free if you have a Prime subscription now, if you're interested in that. A new horror movie called Dark Harvest, which apparently was shown at festivals and then has had a hard time making it to um, any sort of streaming or theaters. Not a lot of people have been able to see it, but it is a rated R horror. A teen confronts a legendary supernatural specter that emerges from the cornfields of a small Midwestern town every fall. And that's going to be on MGM Plus, which I think is like a thing you can get through Amazon Prime. I will probably watch that. Cool. Barbie will be streaming for free on the 15th of December on Max.
Finally.
Yeah, so if you have Max, you'll be able to watch that.
I thought you were going to say if you haven't seen Barbie. I'm like, how is that possible?
Have you seen Barbie? Yeah. Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget will be on Netflix this weekend on the 15th. I am a fan of this animation style, this Aardman Studios, and I am a fan of the first Chicken Run. I remember renting it on VHS from the store and watching it, and I thought it was pretty funny. So I'll give it a shot. A Spanish heist movie called The Delinquents will be on Mubi this weekend. And then The Family Plan, which I know nothing about, but it's Mark Wahlberg. He is a former top assassin living incognito as a suburban dad, and he must take his unsuspecting family on the run when his past catches up to him.
Dude, that sounds like 12 movies we've seen before.
Yeah, like The Babysitter, The Pacifier, like.
Yeah, there's Owen Wilson did one of these, like everyone, and yeah. Mark Wahlberg he did one called Shooter. I think that was kind of like this, right?
No, Shooter's really good, actually.
It is really good. I like Shooter. I remember liking it, but anyway, yeah.
So Gran Turismo will be on Netflix this weekend, so I'm sure
that was good.
Yeah, we walked out of the theater that one, but I wasn't feeling good. Priscilla will be on video on demand this weekend. So if you haven't seen that one, you can rent it, as well as Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. You can rent that this weekend as well. Coming to theaters this weekend, we have Wonka, which we are going to bet on later to see what it does domestically. That is the Timothy Chalamet Willy Wonka prequel. Rebel Moon, which is Zack Snyder's new sci-fi movie, will be in select theaters this weekend to give it a little bit of a theater run before moving to Netflix.
And I'll tell you, I know something
December
about this.
22nd. Yeah.
This is going to the theaters. It's going to be in New York, LA, of course, London, and Toronto in your province.
Oh yeah. See, I'm not the traffic from here to Toronto is so bad. I'm not driving. It would be 3 hours for me to get there with traffic. It's only like a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just saw those 4 cities. I'm like, damn. Oh wait, Toronto, Mitch, you can go.
I am not doing that. I've driven almost an hour for a movie like outside of Toronto. When it was like Oscar time, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna be able to see this before the Oscars. But yeah, so that is there's some people who just love Zack Snyder, and so they're really excited for this. It's gonna be kind of like his Star Wars he's saying. And this is part 1. Part 2 has already been filmed and will release on Netflix in 2024.
Cool, I'll see it. I liked his zombie movie, Army of Darkness, or whatever that was.
Yeah, Army of the Dead.
Yeah, I like that. I like some of his stuff. I'm not a Zack Snyder hater.
No, me neither. I just
know there are people that are,
Yeah.
Actually, I love his movie Pain and Gain. Speaking of Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's not a bad one.
Funny,
I like that
funny movie.
And
Dawn of the Dead is good.
I did not like his Justice League, but then when he did the director's cut, I watched that full 3-hour thing, 4 hour, and it made it a lot better. I actually really enjoyed it then. So
yeah,
I don't think every director should do that. I'm sorry, but if you're giving us this, why? Yeah. I don't know, but
it's bullshit.
The Family Plan that we just talked about will be in some theaters this weekend. Yep. I've heard The Zone of Interest will be in some theaters this weekend. Limited, not around me. A lot of these are coming limited, and then they will be bigger around Christmas. There's also this movie called The Finest Kind, and it's Tommy Lee Jones, Jenna Ortega, and Ben Foster from the director
Whoa.
of 42. But apparently, it got a bunch of like the festival circuit. It did not do well, so it's had a really rough time trying to get a distributor. It's 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, but I will see it because Tommy Lee Jones is my favorite actor,
Yep.
and
I
yeah,
like Ben Foster too. He's
me
always
too.
he's always really good. So
Always good.
that sucks that it's 33%.
But I'll make my own.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
but and then I've seen this as streaming already or VOD, but this is coming to select theaters. It's called A Disturbance in the
I've
Force.
heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah, how the Star Wars holiday special happened. I have seen the holiday special. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's like only like 45 minutes, but there's like Ewoks and it's really
Yeah, then there's
awkward.
no subtitles for like tons of dialogue that Chewie's family. Yeah, it's terrible.
Right, right. It's all about Chewie's family. Yeah.
Life Day.
Um, Life Day. And what's Monster? Sorry, you put it here.
Oh yeah, so Monster is a Asian of some kind or Indo-Pacific. That's pretty broad to say. Movie that people have been talking about.
Hmm.
It comes out, well, it's been out in some places, but this weekend it's showing near me. When her young son Minato starts to behave strangely, the mother feels that there's something wrong. Discovering a teacher is responsible, she storms into the school demanding to know what's going on, but the story unfolds through the eyes of the mother, teacher, and the child. The truth gradually emerges. So it's a drama. I've just heard some critics talk about that it's really good. So we'll see.
Yeah, and this director seems to have a pretty. He seems to have a pretty good filmography. Like everything's like over 7.5. So
Yeah, yep.
yeah, I should check this one out. I like the poster.
I'll probably see this. So I'll give us feedback on the next
Okay.
episode.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So then
we're gonna. Yeah, we're
bet
gonna
on Wonka.
bet on Wonka.
So what did I tell you before? I already forgot the number.
You said, was it 30 million or 50 million?
Can't remember.
There was some. That's fine. It's not going to affect my.
Okay, I think it was
30.
I think it was 30.
Yeah, it was 30 million because I thought that. No, I'm not going to say that. But anyways, it was 30 million. Yeah, so we're going to bet on Wonka. It's already, as we said, it's 43 million overseas. So I'm going to go.
All right, we can write it at the same time in this document, right?
Oh yeah, I guess we can. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I just wrote it down in real life, but
All right, 1, 2,
2, 3. Wow.
Ooh.
I went 52, Ant went 32 million. That's domestic. I see this movie doing big numbers.
I bet it probably will. I think I'm probably undercutting it.
Yeah. What
But
did we
see.
not did we bet on anything last week?
We did, but I was just thinking, why don't we do every other week so that we don't
yeah,
crush ourselves with, because I know you have a shit ton. I know you get assigned stuff. You do a
I do
dome.
all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, you do a whole, but
yeah.
let's do every other week. So
Okay.
I think that'll be good. So I still owe you Shin's Godzilla. You still owe me either City of God or New Order.
Yes, New Order is what I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch.
I think you'd like that one.
Let me just, since we're at the end of the episode, I know you got to get to bed, but let me just read what Matt said about
Yeah.
A Brighter Summer Day and then tell you the movie he assigned us. He said, "My thoughts on A Brighter Summer Day. The best Taiwanese film ever made. Yes, it's a bit too long, but there isn't a lot I would cut out. It would work well as a miniseries today,
That's
but
a
I
good call.
still love it in the film medium. The emotions hit, and I'm not sure it would have the same impact at 150 minutes. It takes patience, but it rewards well. Clearly, we didn't have the patience that we should have had.
And I said, I
But
think if I saw this in a theater, I would have a much different feeling.
I'm so much better in theater, like with these long movies. Like
Same.
Killers of the Flower Moon, I loved.
Saw it
And
twice.
yeah,
Or even this year's Cinema Paradiso. That's an old
yeah,
classic that I saw that I think it was 180 minutes. I didn't know it going in. It was excellent.
okay.
So yeah. But that's cool.
So
I appreciate that he gave us that. So what else did he say?
Yeah, so Matt is at our Patreon level, $10 a month, where you get to assign us a film every month. And um, he is assigning us a movie called Heart and Souls from 1993. And he even says here, normal film length, including credits, it's under an hour 45. He says Alfred Woodard should have gotten an Oscar nomination for this role, and Robert Downey Jr. gives some of his best physical comedy, of the
Awesome.
best physical comedy outside of Jim Carrey, in a year where he was nominated for Chaplin.
Cool. This
So
is exciting because
yeah,
I want so badly to see some of Downey Jr.'s
me
pre-Iron Man
too.
stuff.
Hmm.
Just because we know him so well as Iron Man now, it'll be fun to see him because he
Yeah,
had a whole career before Marvel, you know?
yeah,
He had a whole
yeah,
life.
and the drugs and
That's
everything.
what I
Yeah,
mean, a whole life, like career and issues. So
yeah,
cool, Heart and Souls. This will be great. I'll add this to Plex for us, Mitch.
perfect. So yeah, so you can join our Patreon there. There's the $5 level and the $10 level, which you get to assign us a movie. Um, so everyone, thank you for listening. All of our links are below where you can follow us. Follow us on YouTube. You can watch the videos there, or wherever you're listening to this, you can find our podcasts. Thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Hollywood Persona podcast. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at The Hollywood Persona. Feel free to email the show at thehollywoodpersona@gmail.com and make sure to rate, share, and follow on whatever platform you're listening to our show on. It's the little things that help. Thank you.
And you little shithead, you're staying here.